after reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien and watching the movies that are with Peter Jackson, whatever the fuck his name is, I found out that this movie exists, and this was a movie. Don't get me wrong, I love the book and Martin Freeman, but this movie was more book accurate. For example, they made an entire movie out of one chapter, and in the book, it was mostly just in the background. And for some reason, the wood elves look like E.T. looking frogs. Hey everyone, Pointless Ryan here, and yeah, we're here to check out the 1977 Hobbit movie. Because that is a thing. And like I said before, this movie is more book accurate than the entire trilogy. The movie starts out with a few of the lines of the beginning of the book. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit on or to eat. It was a hobbit's hole, and that means comfort. And then we meet our main character, Bilbo Baggins. And right out of the pipe smoke, Gandalf appears and tells him that 13 dwarves are gonna come to his house. And because this is only a 77-minute movie, the dwarves are here and they are singing the best song in the entire book.
We must away at break of day. Seek the pale enchanted gold.
Then the dwarves break in, eat all the food, and clean all the dishes because they're actually nice people. I'm not even joking. I think this movie would be absolutely horrifying if you watch this high, because I know by a fact that I will be horrified if I saw this. The movie goes how the book goes. Bilbo reads the contract, dies, and starts his journey without a handkerchief. And yes, both the book and the movie have, keep on telling you that Bilbo forgot his handkerchief because he's a hobbit. And I have to say, I do like how they made the characters because the dwarves are supposed to be like over 100 years old, and Bilbo's a 50-year-old man. Yeah, that's right. This beautiful man is supposed to be 50, and this beautiful man is supposed to be like 170. So later into the movie, the dwarves and Bilbo meet 3 trolls, and Gandalf appears and turns them into stone. And I just want to say that Gandalf does literally everything, and the dwarves and Bilbo do nothing. And Gandalf leaves for like 90% of the time. So after the trolls turn into stone, they go into a cave and they meet Sting, Glamdril, and the Goblin Cleaver. And now we're in Rivendell, and we're talking to Elrond, who is the only elf that looks like an elf. They give Elrond the map, and he reads the map under the moonlight, because Dwarf New Year or whatever, and now they know where to go. But uh-oh, we got kidnapped by goblins inside of a mountain, and Gandalf is not with us again, because, yeah. And let me tell you, the songs in this movie are absolute bangers, and I wish there were more songs in the Martin Freeman movies, because goddamn, this song is a bop. Also, Bilbo dies again and he meets Gollum, who also looks like a frog. So Gollum and Bilbo play some game of riddles, and if Bilbo wins, he gets to leave, and if he loses, he dies. Simple enough, right? Also, Bilbo finds the ring, turns invisible, and leaves Gollum. Also, Gandalf is again here. So far, this movie is really book accurate, besides the live action, because for some reason they added orcs, and the whole thing with the pale orc, and I'm just not gonna talk about that. That's a whole other discussion. And with this scene, it's different from the live action because they replaced the goblins with the orcs, and the whole pale orc thing. He's only mentioned in the book, but he's a main threat in the movies, while in this movie, it's just the goblins, and this is just better. So a tree gets on fire and the Philly Eagles swoop down to save them all, and they go to the entrance of Mirkwood. And the whole scene of Mirkwood very disappointing. Like, reading the Mirkwood chapter was really confusing, and the live action movie made the forest feel like a sickness, but this? Very disappointed in you, 1977. Nothing really happens in Mirkwood, minus the fact that Gandalf left them before they entered. Bilbo named his sword Sting because the spider said that it stings, and the dwarves got captured by the frog elves. And Bilbo has been invisible for almost an entire year. So yeah, I know that the book doesn't really say how long they were imprisoned, but a few weeks just to get a key? You're invisible. Also Lake Town. And oh no, this is what men look like? You're telling me that this man and this creature are the same character? I disagree. And now it's mountain time. Moonlight shows Keyhole and Bilbo now talks to a worm. Yes. For some reason, Tolkien decided to name dragons worms because that's how he drew them. So, yeah, he's talking to a worm. So the dragon gets out of the mountain, Bard kills the dragon and becomes king of Lake Town. And now it's wartime. Men, dwarves, elves, goblins, and the Philly Eagles. So funny story, they made a whole ass 164-minute movie from a chapter that was only 8 pages long. Yes, an entire 2-hour movie about 8 fucking pages. So Bilbo sits on a rock, dies again, and the war ended. Also, Thorin dies inside of a tent and tells Bilbo a quote. Remember Philly and Killy? No? Well, they're dead too. In the live action, they were pretty big deaths, and Killy had an entire love story with a character that wasn't in the book. And Thorin had a big fight with the Pale Orc, and it was just a giant mess. But this is a true masterpiece of a film. At the end of the war, Bilbo goes back to the Shire, and the movie ends. So that was The Hobbit from 1977. For a movie that came out 40 years after the book, I highly recommend you to watch it just because it's very book accurate, and you can also watch the live action and compare, like something like I did. But I still love Martin Freeman and Richard Armitage. Like, have you seen him as Thorin Oakenshield? So I'm gonna leave this video here. I don't know how long this video is gonna be, and I have no idea how long it's gonna take to edit this video. But thank you all for watching, and subscribe if you haven't.